Okay, for this first project, I'm going to show you how to set up your file and also show you the steps necessary to prepare it for the drawing part, and then I'll also show you how to get started with the line drawing of your face. So step one is to click on GIMP. Let's go ahead and open GIMP. It takes a few seconds. And you're going to see something that looks similar to this. In the upper left-hand corner here, you'll see my tools here. Those are tools we're going to be using quite a bit. And top right, we see our tool options here. Sometimes you'll need to adjust those when you're using a particular tool. Also, I wanted to show you this. Any window you have in here, you can detach it. There's a little box either beneath it or above it with a little arrow that's pointing to the left. You click it, it's a configuration menu. Click that, you can choose what's called Detach Tab. And now you've removed that tab from being locked there and you can float it. My tool options box is, I don't mind just leaving it in here. So you can just drag the tab back in there. The one box I like to float for some reason is the layers window, which is down in the lower right. So I'm going to click this configuration tab, choose Detach Tab, and there are my layers. That's where I'll see my pictures and in what order they're occurring. I don't know why, I just like to make that one float. Everything else can be where it is for now. So step one is to start a new file, and you can go up to the File tab on top, or Control-N is your shortcut. We're going to create a new image or a new file, and the assignment calls for 480 by 640 as our dimensions. And make sure that pixels is selected here, not inches or millimeters or anything else. PX. Click OK. And there's your canvas that you're working with. So let's say you have an image of yourself that you want to use. It's easiest if you put it on your computer already or have it on a thumb drive that's plugged in. Here I put mine in here. So I'm going to go ahead and find that picture. And I'm going to just grab it at this point and just drag it in and just drop it into my canvas. It's going to ask you if you want to change the color profile or keep it. I'm just going to keep. And notice there that picture is way bigger than 480 by 640. So there are a couple of things you can do. I'm going to show you the easiest here. One is you can just basically, you can do this either in image and go to scale image. But probably that's just going to give you the canvas size. I would probably just grab the scale tool in the toolbar there. And it's going to be inside of a menu or a domain with other tools. You might see the United Transform tool, or there's also Rotate, Scale, Shear, Flip, Perspective, 3D Transform, and Handle Transform. You're going to make sure that Scale is your main tool. You're going to select that. Make sure that your layer is selected, which is my picture is, and then click somewhere inside the picture, and this scale window will come up. And here's where you can change it to 480 by 640. Notice it automatically did it because they're linked. Click Scale. Now the picture should be 480 by 640, but it disappeared. So my suspicion is that GIMP moved it somewhere outside of the viewing of the canvas window. So I'm going to grab my magnifying glass here, my zoom tool, and it's already set to zoom out. If you see in the upper right hand corner, I have zoom out and zoom in. You can select them there, or Control will change it to its opposite. So if it's on minus now, Control will change it to plus. Take off Control, it's back to minus. Okay, or they're up here in the upper right, zoom in and zoom out. So as I zoomed out, I noticed here's the picture with the yellow bounding box. So it is there, it's just been moved. So we're going to take the move tool here, right here. Looks like a cross here in our toolbar. And we're going to go inside the yellow bounding box where our picture is and just grab it and move it closer to the area where we want it. So now I can grab the zoom tool here, hold down Control to make it a plus, and zoom in. Or you can do that up here in the upper right, of course. So now my picture is there. It's 480 by 640, and you just want to line it up. If you're having trouble lining it up behind the white background, if you go up to View, click on View, you can check, it's called Snap to Canvas Edges. Select that box. Now watch when I move this, it'll snap it right to the corner, no problem. So snap comes in handy when you want to line things up precisely. So there's my image, it's 480 by 640. Let's say there's too much background and you don't want to show as much of your torso. Well, another thing you can also do is crop it. So you can grab what's called the crop tool, click there, and just crop out an area that you want to preserve while getting rid of the rest. So while trying to maintain a 4:3 ratio, try to select something that's longer than wider, of course. Something like that looks good. And now an easy way to do it is when you go up to the tool options up here, where it says crop, just check current layer only. Okay, and what that'll do is just crop this layer, not the background. So then hit enter. Let's try that again. Hit enter. And notice there that, here, let me try that one more time. Not sure why it's doing that. Let's try current layer only. Again, let's try it again. Okay, so you select your area that you want to crop. And you want to make it so the ratio is similar to your original width-height ratio. Something like that. And where it says crop up here in the tool options in the upper right, I'm just going to try cropping the current layer only. Just this picture. I don't want to crop the background behind it. Okay. And so there I'm just going to hit enter. Okay, and you can see there that it cropped that layer. But you can't see the background there, so that's kind of interesting. Let's see what happened to our canvas size. Let's change our canvas size to 480 by 640 again. Okay, now we've got our 480 by 640 back. And notice the picture doesn't quite fill up the window there. So we may have to resize the picture one more time. Let's click on the picture there. And let's grab the scale tool again. And notice there it says 480 by 640. However, that doesn't seem to be the case here. So we're going to get out of this. Or actually, let's bring this, let's just have this fit the window here. And notice there we've rescaled it here. And let's go ahead now and take this picture and move it around here a little bit. Oops, wrong layer there. Let's make sure we're on the correct layer here. Okay, let's go back here to the background. And now we'll go to this image here and move that into place. Didn't quite crop it the exact way I wanted it, but that's okay. That looks pretty good. And now I guess we can resize it one last time here. So let's click on Image. Let's try Fit Canvas to Layers. Okay. So let's see, Image. Let's go to Canvas Size here again. Canvas size has changed, so we're going to change that to 480 by 640. Click Resize. And we should be good now. So we're at 480 by 640, so we're good there. So you might have to do some resizing there if you crop out the picture a little bit. But once you get it set up, you're ready to go, then you can, the next step will be to pull the color out of it. So you need to desaturate the photo. One of the easiest ways to do it is to go up to Colors, the Colors menu tab. Click on Hue Saturation. And this is a great tool to learn how to use. Here you can adjust the picture's hue. You know, obviously I don't want to change the hue at this point, but it's there when you need it. You can make the image darker or lighter depending on what you want to accomplish there. And finally, you can pull out the saturation or add color too. So I'm just going to pull out the saturation, drag the slider all the way down to -100. Again, you can play with the lightness there if you want to manipulate that. Click OK. There's our image in black and white now. So once you desaturate the image, the next thing you're going to do is blur it. And it's what's called a Gaussian blur. So we're going to go up to Filters here, the Filters tab. Go to the Blur menu and then find Gaussian blur. There it is. We're going to click on that. And the assignment says it needs to be 1 pixel. So for X and Y, we're just going to double click on one of these, type in 1, hit enter, and that'll change the other one because they're linked. So 1 on X and 1 for Y for your pixel size. Click OK. And notice there I blurred it out a little bit. That'll just make it a little easier for the last step here, which is to posterize it. So we're going to add what's called the Posterize Filter. And I believe you'll find that under Image, maybe? No. Colors, sorry. Same thing, if you go to Colors here, just like where we found the hue saturation, if you go all the way down, you'll see a Posterize function under Colors. Okay, click that. And the assignment says to use a number 6. So we're going to jump this up to 6. I'd say 6 or 7 is acceptable. I'll just throw 6 out there. Click OK. And now my image is ready to start drawing. Okay. And so what Posterize does is it gives you clearly defined areas where you can draw lines. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a new layer onto our layer window. And so the easiest way to do that is go to the bottom of your layers window, the bottom left corner. There's a little, like a document with a plus sign. It says create a new layer and add it to the image. If you click this, this window will come up and you just have to say OK. And there's our new layer, right? So we're going to call this layer, I'm going to double click on the name here and just call this drawing. So you know which layer to draw onto, okay? So at this point we have 3 layers. We have a drawing with nothing on it. We have the picture that's posterized. And then we have the background layer on the bottom. We're going to be on the top layer, on the drawing layer. So what I would recommend too when you do this is to change your foreground color to a color that'll stand out from the grayscale behind it. In this case, I'm going to click on the foreground box. So we're just right near my tools in the upper left. That front box that's blue, you can click on that and change the color there. Something like a pink will work really well for this. So I'm going to change that foreground color to pink. Grab my zoom tool. Hold down Control to make it a plus. And zoom in great detail. And this is where you can start your drawing now. So now we'll go up to the tools. And you'll see a brush tool there. I don't want to use the paintbrush, so I'm going to use the pencil. So I'm going to left click the mouse button, hold it down, change from the paintbrush to the pencil. And then over in the right hand side of my canvas, I'm going to change the size you see there in the tool options. The size in the upper right hand corner here, and we're going to change that to 1. Remember, this has to be a 1 pixel size pencil. So size is 1, color's pink. I'm going to zoom in one more time on this thing. And now I can grab my pencil, and I'm just going to left click with my mouse button and start drawing. You can see here I'm just kind of following the lines here. It's a good idea to take your hand off the left mouse button once in a while. And here's a great trick here. When you see a straight line, if you're having trouble, let's say you're drawing and all of a sudden you keep curving off like that. If you're having trouble drawing a straight line, just go to that point where you want to start, hold down Shift, click once, and then click up until you see a straight line, then click again and it draws it for you. So again, that's only when you want to do a straight line here. Like here's a good example of when to do that. This long straight line would be hard to do freehand. So hold down Shift, click once, drag your line up, click again, and it creates it for you. So that's a really handy feature. And I highly recommend taking your hand off the mouse button once in a while and then starting again. And just take your time, go really slow. Again, left click, hold the mouse button, then drag your mouse while you're holding the left mouse button in. And just take your time. Like I said, you may, let's say you're going along and you're doing a great job and all of a sudden, you messed up. There's two ways you can go about fixing that, right? You can hit Control-Z to undo the whole thing, but now you're stuck back here again, right? So let's redo that pencil line, or Control-Y will redo it. And let's just zoom in and we'll use the eraser to get rid of just where we messed up. Okay, so I'm zooming in great extremity there. So let's go ahead and on the toolbox, in the toolbox there, up top, there's an eraser tool. So click that, and we'll just go in here. Let's see, make sure we're on the right layer. We are. Let's change the hardness and the force here. We'll bring those up. And let's see if we can just get rid of that line. Let's see, maybe we need to bring the size up a little bit too, so we can see it better. There we go. So I just brought the size of the eraser up. We may have to adjust the pencil size again. And you see there how that's working. If you hit the bracket tools on your keyboard, just like Photoshop, it'll make it larger or smaller. The bracket tools. You can see when I hit the left bracket tool, you can see the size down here over on the right getting smaller. Or you can also just do it right here in this window. So let's go back down to 1 after we're done erasing. And let's grab our pencil again. And let's keep going. Okay, let's see here. Let's make sure we're on the drawing layer. Let's see, I'm not sure why it's not working. Sometimes GIMP doesn't work when I'm doing a screen capture. Let's see, maybe something selected that shouldn't be. No, we're good there. Oh, lock brush to view. I just turned that off and it worked. So I'm not sure what happened there. All right, so we're good to go here. Okay, so now let's keep going here. Again, I'm just freehanding this. If it's not exactly 100% perfect, if it's off in a little bit, a few areas, it's really not going to be that noticeable. So there you can see I messed up there, so I'd probably fix that. I'm going to grab my eraser tool and erase that, get rid of what I just messed up on, and then go from there. So you get, this is the basic idea. You're going to draw outlines around the different values of your face and your hair, of course. And that's the idea here, is to create the value changes with outlines. Again, take your finger off the mouse once in a while. And this is a big shape here, you know, there's a lot of connection here. So I'm trying to get this done rapidly to show you. Normally I'd go a little slower here. But that's the idea here. So I'm going to keep working on this, keep drawing my outlines, and then when I get finished, we'll come back and I'll show you how to save this thing out.